Welcome to Making It Happen, the podcast for working parents who are raising kids, growing careers, and trying to stay grounded in the process. I'm your host, Pauline Roth.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You like what you do?
I do.
That's good.
Well, let's talk about you.
Cool.
So, thank you, Nick, for being here today.
Thanks for having me. You have a beautiful home.
Thank you very much. So I just kind of want to ask you questions about your business.
Yeah.
You have two businesses, no?
Yep.
Okay.
Kinda. Well, one of them I'm a barber. Been doing that since 2022, I think. And then me and my buddy, I got tired of, well, not really. I get stressed out, and so I used to clean my car a lot, and so I opened a detailing business in January. So now I brought my buddy down that I've known for like 6 years. His name's Trevor. He has OCD, so it's perfect. So I brought him down. We 50-50'd on that. And that's actually how I met you with Trevor. I don't know if you remember him, but yeah, we met then at the cigar lounge. And then, yeah, so that's been going good. I've been trying to not get out of barbering, but kind of steer more into the detailing because I'd make more per hour and it's more, I guess, it's scalable. No, so the reason I became a barber, so I got kicked out of my house at 18 for being a young dumb kid, and uh I met my wife at 16, started dating her 17, 16 or so. I don't know. We've been together for 8, going on 9 years, and I'll be 26 this year. So 17 is when we started dating. Met at 16, started dating at 17. I got kicked out at 18 for being dumb and doing dumb stuff. Moved into my buddy's house, and he sadly got shot and killed. Yeah, he ended up do becoming friends with this one dude, and he loaned him some money, and the dude that loaned got the loan, ended up shooting him 5 times and killing
Where
him.
was this?
In Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
So I'm from Oregon.
Okay.
My little sister was born in Florida, and then we moved to Oregon. So then I wanted to come back. So long story short, his brother was my barber. He quit being a barber. I had to go to a different dude. Different dude's like, hey, you can talk to people. I guess that's why I'm on this podcast. But he's like, you could talk to people. Have you thought about, maybe becoming a barber, whatever, because you're young, you could do good with it. And I was like, no, I don't really think about doing that. I was working for my quote unquote uncle. It's my dad's best friend. He worked at an IT thing, and I just set his schedule, and I was cool with making $23 an hour and just sitting at home and on my butt doing pretty much nothing. And then I'm in Colorado, prime time COVID. Yeah, COVID, prime time COVID, and my not wife but girlfriend at the time, soon to be fiance, sends me a photo of what I think is a COVID test. COVID test ends up not being a COVID test. I look at it for a couple seconds, and it's not a COVID test. It's a pregnancy test. So I find out that I'm having my first child, and at 21, it's gonna be 22 after I have my first one, I'm freaking the hell out. So I'm thinking about all the ways that I can make money and have an open schedule because I already know I'm gonna have a child and it's gonna be a lot. So I ended up enrolling into barber school. What would have been March or April of that year. I finished it in 6 months. So yeah, October. So yeah, it would have been April. I finished in 6 months. They said it would take 11 months. I did 14-hour days instead of 8-hour days, and got my son was born September 28th. I was at 146% attendance rate or something like that. So I had to have 2 weeks off of school. Took 2 weeks off, finished my diploma, or quote, quote, diploma, what they called it. Got my barbering license, cut hair in Oregon for a year, and then moved out here. So then I ended up, the way that I got into my job now is I went to a class in Seattle, and the owner, me and him talked, came down to Florida, got a job here, and now I'm here. But yeah, that's how I became a barber. I never wanted to become a barber. I mean, it's cool to cut hair, and it's cool. I like it, but sometimes it doesn't fulfill me too much because like I like to I don't know, more help people out, and like I can help people out behind the chair, but there's only so much you can do, you know what I mean? And there's I don't know, it's fun and it's cool to like be able to grow and stuff, but I don't see myself doing it until I retire. I want to try to scale businesses, or like you said, help businesses like you do, something like that. But yeah.
Do you like the auto detailing?
Yeah, I like auto detailing because it's fun, and it's you see people like more reaction rather than just like showing a haircut in the mirror, because people are so used to, I feel like, getting a hair. I don't know if that's the reason, but people are so used to getting a haircut. They're just like, yeah, it looks great, cool, shake them up, get them out. But like with auto detailing, sometimes they're like, holy crap, I haven't seen my car this clean since I came off the lot. Or like this girl today that we detailed her car, she's like, I bought the car from her sister or something. She's like, the car's never been this clean. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I like that, and I like to be able to like not have to sit behind somebody and talk in their ear. And that part gets a little bit like, uh, what I'm talking about when you're talking the whole time and they're just talking this way, and you're like, you're both talking straight ahead. It's kind of, I don't know. It's cool though. It's fun. It pays the bills, so that's what I'm glad about.
So you're doing a lot and you are so young.
Yep.
So tell me, when did you get married?
I got married October 11th of
Oh my gosh, no way.
24.
No way.
Yeah.
My anniversary is October 11th.
Really?
Yes.
What the hell? Yeah, 10, 11, 24. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're not 24, we're 2014, but
Hey, 10-year difference though.
yeah.
That's cool. So you guys will be 12 and we'll be 2.
Yes.
Wow, that's
That's
crazy.
amazing.
That's cool. What? Yeah, we got married it was crazy story. So we planned going to back to Oregon. Her mom was gonna marry. Well, she did marry us, but her mom was gonna marry us. It was gonna be a small wedding. It did end up being a small wedding, but 2 days beforehand, we find out that Helene or one of them was coming through, and we didn't know if our flight was gonna get canceled, so we're on standby the whole time, and we were the second or third to last flight out of Tampa. Yeah, it was crazy. We get there. Tampa's usually a just breeze through. Takes like 10 minutes through TSA. Take the shoes off, get going, and get on your way. Yeah, my wife decided to show up 3 hours early, and I thought that was a little excessive because I'm pissed off that we're showing up for a 7 a.m. flight at 4 in the morning. And she actually ended up being very, very, very smart to do that, because we ended up making it at like 4:45 with traffic, 5 o'clock with traffic. Left the house at like, I think 3:45, 4. Got there at like 5. Think we got to our boarding to like fourth to last person. And then we got married, and everyone's on the plane like, I don't know what's gonna happen to my house, and I'm just like, I'm going to get married, so I'm sorry that you guys have to deal with this. Yeah, and then on the way back, we heard about this girl talking about her house. She had cameras in her house, and the water flooded so high up that the cameras went out. And I was like, she's like, yeah, so I don't know what's gonna. I'm like,
Were you worried about your place?
Oh no, we had a roommate. So she was giving us updates on the place that we were living at. Thankfully, it was a rental, and the only thing that happened was our cactus that was like 2 feet high knocked over and cracked the vase, and then I think uh the gutter came off partially, but we just nailed it back in. So it wasn't bad, but thankfully nothing happened. But yeah, yeah. That's so. I got 2 kids. I got a 3.5-year-old, almost 4. Then I got a 1-year-old. I got a boy and a girl.
Okay.
Yep.
So who's easier?
My daughter. My son's very hard to deal with. He has moderate. Well, he just got diagnosed with moderate to severe autism the first, second, something like that. So he's definitely harder to deal with. He doesn't talk, and he has these temper tantrums, and he does his own thing, but he's cool. He's fun. That's my little boy, but he's harder to deal with. My daughter, she's been getting not hard to deal with, but she's been getting needy as heck. she begs like a dog. It sounds bad, but like she doesn't walk just yet, but she can hold herself up enough.
Yeah.
But she found out what like real food tastes like. So she'll just sit there and cry until you give her a piece, and then you give her a piece, and then it's like if you don't give her a piece, she's crying the whole. I'm like,
That
oh
never
my.
ends.
I'm sure not. I'm like, gosh, I started making like a plate, and then I'd keep like some to the side for her for when she actually comes by, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she'll go and beg. I have a roommate now, my business partner, and she'll go beg him. He'll be like, no, like you already ate. She'll go beg me. She'll beg my wife, and then if one of us doesn't give her food, she's just crying. I'm like, oh my gosh.
So, what is the hardest part about owning a business, would you say?
Balance.
Balance?
Yeah, because you can never balance. You know what I mean? Because if you have a company, depending on what kind of company you have, there's always either you are the head of the head honcho, or someone else is the head honcho, and you have to pull your part in the business whether you own it or not. You know what I mean? Some people own a business and they're not the CEO. They're manager of XYZ or whatever. I'd say balance, because when it comes down to it, like I got two kids. One is on the spectrum, so he does need more than a normal child, you know what I mean? So I'd say that part, and I'm young, so like I haven't done all the crazy stuff I want to do in my life. I haven't been like able to go out and like go to, not saying I like to drink, but like go to bars or do stuff like that, you know what I mean? So there has to be a balance in life, you know what I mean? Cuz if you spend too much time with your family and you're trying to build a business, or you've built a business and you're trying to either scale it or keep it where it's at. If you don't have a balance between working and family, or working, having fun, working and stressing, working and doing whatever, you're not going to be able to actually keep the business afloat and or grow it. Because if you don't have balance, you're not going to end up, one way or another you'll lack. You know what I mean? So there's times where I tell my wife like, hey, like me and my business partner and her talked, right? Like, hey, we're trying to grow this business. There'll be times where I have to leave early in the morning, come back home, maybe pick up my son, take him to school, or hey, maybe you have to take your son to not your son, but take our son to school, or hey, maybe I won't be home till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night tonight. I'm sorry, you know what I mean? I'll pick up I'll if you don't want to make dinner, just make it for yourself or the kids or whatever, and then I'll pick up something myself. You know what I mean? So I'd say it's probably balance, cuz at the end of the day, if you don't balance out ways to make everything work one way and or another, something slacks, you know? Crashing out. No, not really.
Like, what are your priorities right now?
My priorities right now I'd say is obviously with me finding out my son's like has autism. I knew he had autism because I've been around people that have autism. But I'd say just trying to get him to where the point that he can talk and actually like continue to grow, and then for that family wise and spending time with my wife, because I know that when she's when I usually take him to school and pick him up, so that like alleviates her to be able to like just deal with my 1 year old. So I try to do that, and then but really just having him grow, and then I spend a lot of time with my family. My family, it's my wife and my two kids. I spend a lot of time with them because like not I didn't spend a whole lot of time with my family as a kid. Like my mom, she had my stepdad, and my dad moved away and stuff. So I try to spend quality time with them. But I really want to grow this detailing business because I'm tired of just not living like basic, but like just nothing's. I haven't seen a whole lot of growth out in Florida. You know what I mean? Like I've grown, made two businesses. They've been amazing, but I haven't like stacked $1 million or done certain things that I want to do. So I'm trying to grow the detailing business so I can take time off. And then not yet, exactly, not yet. I'm trying to do it so where I can actually take time off. Because whenever I take time off barbering, it usually, like back to the balance, right? People expect you to have a schedule, right? And with barbering, some people think that you should be there every second, and some people understand that you might have two kids and a wife and something else going on. So like there has to be a balance. So like I'll try to take off time, but then obviously it affects when it comes to clients and everything like that. So I've been trying to grow the detailing business so then if I make money on the side, I can step away and take more time for the family and then also be able to like, grow business on the other side.
So, what are your plans for growing your detailing business? Do you
Well,
have a plan?
my Toyota right now, that's a pain in the ass, but we're doing it just to make it work. Usually do like 2 cars a day, car and a half, 2 cars a day, depending on obviously how you do the math. So we're trying to get a van, which that should be. He's going to Denver. He lives in Denver. He's going back to get his car Friday or Saturday, and then I'm going up Tuesday to help him drive down, sell that, get the van, and then just scale from there. Try to get an employee by the beginning of the summer. That's the goal, because I know my brother-in-law, he wants to come down for the summer, so try and see how he does, and then if he wants to stick around, try and have him stick around. But that's the plan. Try and scale it to then if he has if I have an employee, I can pay them X amount of dollars and make X amount of dollars and then step away. Because I'm tired of working 60-hour weeks every freaking week without not reaping freaking the benefits. But it's like, damn, I want to chill sometimes and sit on the couch and have my feet up. Yeah.
So, how do you and your wife try to connect? Because you're so busy.
That's been something hard for us because we can't, she doesn't trust somebody with my son, and I trust certain people with my son because certain people know that, I mean, I don't know where this is going on, but certain people know that I would definitely, die by my son or, do something worse for my son. I trust certain people, but she doesn't trust certain people because he doesn't talk. So we bring him everywhere. We bring both my kids everywhere. If we want to go on a date, we bring them everywhere. Sunday I don't work usually. Sometimes every other weekend I don't work. Maybe every third week I don't work. All right, back to yeah. We hang out every couple Sundays. Usually I like to go on family walks. My son is he could run a marathon. I swear he could. I could enroll him in the Boston Marathon, and he might take first place. And at 4 years old, that kid can run. So we like to go out to like walks. We've been to Lettuce Lake Park is a nice one, and then the Hillsborough River County State Park, something like that. We go out there Sundays, and then I try to always. I'm skinny, but I like to eat a lot of food, and I like to eat bad food. So then I usually try to get like some sort of snack after, whether it be like ice cream. We went to church last Saturday because Sundays are terrible. Not ter. That sounded crazy, but they're busy as heck. So we went Saturday instead of Sunday. We got like snow cones. So I like to like do stuff like that. Like Fridays we go to after school because my son's in a program in school, and we'll go to Sam's Club, get a little ice cream or whatever, a little Slurpee or whatever. So I try to do that with them. Make time on like random days if I don't have appointments or if I don't want appointments, and then come home for a couple hours, hang out. We like to watch TV shows when my kids go to sleep, if they go to sleep. it's that's the part. We'll be a quarter of the way through a TV show, and my daughter will wake up screaming and crying, and then she's trying to get her back to bed, and then it's a quarter of the way through, and then I'm falling asleep on the couch.
How old is she again?
She's a year. She just turned a year
Oh, okay.
April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember those days.
Yeah, diapers, and changing diapers and
You know,
crying.
actually, that's the easy part.
That's what my client said
Yeah,
the other day.
because
He said appreciate it.
yes, because as they get older, you're gonna be like, I wish you were 1 years old again.
Couldn't
And
back talk me.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what my mom said. She said that the other day. She was like, "At least you don't have to worry about them back talking." And I was like, "I didn't do that." And she's like, "Oh," and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I know I did that for sure. I'm sorry." Yeah, no, it's fun. I like my kids. Well, I don't like them. I love my kids, but They make life fun.
Yes.
They make life fun.
Yeah.
Different experience every 5, 10, 15 minutes. Just depends who's awake and who wants to deal with who. My son's starting to like my daughter, which is cool. Beginning, he thought she was like an alien from a different planet and would never be around her. And then
I mean,
now she can like touch him a tiny bit and he won't run off all the way.
me and my brother are 6 years apart. He's younger than me,
Okay.
and we still get into arguments
Oh yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, me and my brother would shoot. We argued all the time as kids. Me and my sister did too, but now me and my sister are really good friends, so that's cool. That's cool. How old's your brother?
I don't know.
That was rude. I just
6 years
subliminally asked your age.
36, I think.
Okay. Does he have kids?
No,
No, just you.
just me. I'm the only one who has kids.
How many siblings do you have? Just him?
Him and then my mom. Funny story. My mom called me when I was in college because she remarried, and she's like, "Oh, I'm pregnant." I was like, "No, mom. I'm supposed to be calling you and telling you I'm pregnant."
So it's funny. So when we found out that my wife was pregnant with my son, she was overly excited, but wanted to wait until the end of the first trimester, which I've now since found out that a lot of people do. I thought that was stupid. I will not lie. I was like, why aren't we telling your family you're pregnant? We're young as hell. We need to get some diapers and clothes and money and just give us everything you can give us pretty much. And then I realized that that doesn't always happen. People will give you just not a lot, but they'll give you what they can, and I'm totally cool with that. But I was like, why aren't we telling your family? And she's like, well, all these things can happen. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. So we call first person we call, I think was her mom. Yeah, her mom. Mom doesn't answer. So we're like, okay, obviously, let's call her dad. So we call her dad, and dad's like, okay, that's crazy, cool, all excited or whatever, whatever. Contact the whole family. Probably maybe 4 days to a week goes by, and she gets a call from her dad. We're sitting there watching a TV show. She's like, hey, can you pause it? My dad's calling me. I said, yeah, no worries. So I pause it. And I hear him talking, talking, talking. I'm like, what is he talking about? I'm like, put it on speaker. Because her dad, like, he'll just ramble and ramble and ramble about random stuff sometimes, and it's funny. So I was like, what, put it on speaker. And he's like, yeah, I got something to tell you. I was like, mute it. I was like, he remarried, not remarried, but separated from his, uh, went through a divorce. My mother-in-law and him went through a divorce, and he got back with his high school sweetheart. So I said, mute it. I said, he got her pregnant. I said, watch, they're having a kid. Because forever back, I remember hearing her saying that she wishes that she would have had children with him rather than her previous baby daddy. So he unmutes it. Yeah, my son has an uncle that is born 6 weeks before my son. Yeah, yeah, and they're having not first birthdays together, but they're attending each other's first birthdays together and everything. It was so funny. I was like, wow, this is crazy. So yeah, my father-in-law has a 24-year-old, 20. Yeah, Zion's 20, 18, and then 4-year-old.
Yeah, me and my sister are 21 years apart. Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially, yeah, 21 or
But
20.
like, I love her so much. She's like,
You guys have a good relationship?
we do.
Is she like, not to be weird, is she like your second kid?
She, well,
Kind of
her
like a kid level? Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. You're the big sister slash mom?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was not me. I was the black sheep.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't like my stepdad. Me and him have an amazing relationship now, but me and him beefed like cat and Tom and Jerry. I was gonna say, well, I'm forgetting that TV show. We beefed a lot. I didn't like him. He didn't like me. My brother moved out because we beefed. We fought like hands on all the time. So he moved out my fifth grade year.
What changed?
I got kicked out.
Okay.
I got kicked out. I was living with my buddy Dom, who passed away. His mom, Rochelle, was amazing. Allowed me to sleep on their couch. Allowed me to stay with them until I pretty much got on my feet. Moved out 4 months later, 3 or 4 months later. So they allowed me to stay there for a while, and then I went and lived with a buddy. Got screwed over by his mom. I should have seen it coming because no hate to his mother, but she didn't have anything going for herself and she didn't have a good credit score. So I signed on to the power bill, and being 18 years old, she screwed me over $1,000, almost getting sent to collections. So I drained my savings account, went and lived with a different buddy whose mom, I consider her like a second mom. We don't talk a whole lot anymore because I've kind of have it established in life. But she helped me out. She told me I was fucking up, excuse my French, but she told me I was screwing up. She told me why I was screwing up, which I kind of had seen. I didn't see it at my parents' house because I didn't like my stepdad. Because second grade, my parents got divorced kindergarten. Second grade, there's random dudes moving into my house and he's trying to act like my dad. And I was like, I'm not going for that. And then we beefed, and then it just turned into one thing, and then he didn't like me, and then we went back and forth. So then she told me pretty much like, hey, you're just kind of a douchebag. Not trying to be rude, but like you don't really treat anybody the way they should be treated, and if you don't agree with somebody, you kind of are just rude about it. And I was like, okay, I understand that. I guess when people think different, I don't agree, and then when I don't agree, I'm rude with the way I don't agree. So I was like, okay, I understand that. Try to work on it a little bit, and then, uh, yeah, one day I get told that I'm a terrible person because I don't know how to treat people from somebody that was close to me, and that hurt. I won't lie. I lost a good friend of mine, and I was hurt because we got into an argument, and I said some things I shouldn't have said, and told him some things that I shouldn't have said, but was maybe partially truthful. And he didn't want to hear it. And I lost a good friend. And I was like, we've now made amends, but I realized I was pretty much a dick. And if I was going to continue to be with my wife, not saying I treated my wife in any sort of way bad, but if I was going to be with my wife, I can't just be a dick because eventually if I'm a dick to everybody, I'm gonna end up being a dick to her without realizing it, and then I'm gonna lose somebody that helped me when I got kicked out of my house, and then helped me out through this whole time. So I realized I was being rude, and I kind of got away from what I thought was a toxic environment, which it was just me making it toxic by not wanting to have a good relationship with my stepdad. But we made amends 2 Christmases ago, or a couple Christmases, not Christmas, but like around that time before Christmas. We made amends, and he told me essentially what my buddy told me. And he was like, "Yeah, you're just rude for no reason." And I think I was just kind of lost. My dad moved away. My parents got divorced. They went through a bad divorce. I seen it all happen. So I think I was just lost. And then he told me that, and I was like, "Yeah, I've changed a lot." And he was like, "Yeah, you can tell that you're no longer doing this, and you're no longer doing that." And then yeah, and I'd say my wife, she definitely balanced me out a lot because I was thinking about crashing out when I got kicked out, not doing anything bad, but just crashing out. And she's like, "That's stupid. Just you have a good place to stay." She helped me out through everything. We hung out. She rode for me until the end. She pushed me to be better in different ways without me realizing it. And then, one day it kind of smacked me in the face like, holy crap, this is what she's done for me. And then I was like, wow, you know what I mean?
That's very good that you were able to reflect on everything that you were doing
Oh, yeah.
and take a step back and realize that what you were doing was wrong.
Yeah, I say that all the time because I snuck my girlfriend into my house to sleep at my house because I didn't want to freaking, do anything. I'd go to parties, and then, one time I called my grandpa, and he had my phone died, and he had to stop. He had to stop at Walgreens and get a map of the local city, and then he had to pick me up at this party. I was doing a lot of dumb stuff, and I realized it. You know what I mean? I wasn't saying I was hanging out with bad people because it's just high school and everyone's gonna party, especially in a town that there's nothing going on but high school and partying and stuff like that. So I wasn't hanging out with bad people. I was just hanging out with people that you know weren't doing the best things. I had friends that went to college and got a freaking 8 year, 6 year, 8 year degree that were partying and doing stuff like that.
And
But
what was it that made you realize that you weren't doing the right things?
well, I didn't go to jail, but uh, I don't. Probably sitting in a freaking room, pissed off that I have to work two jobs to pay a sh- freaking shitty ass amount of money, and sitting there and I'm like, I have to work two jobs just because I want to be stupid and run my mouth to my stepdad one day after work when I got my license behind their back. It's, so I think that's what it was. Like, there's no hate on this room because this room is beautiful, but I was slept in this like a room like this size, like trying to make a freaking, I have a bed and I have a TV and I have it gets kind of small, and then I'm sitting there and I'm like, I got, you know, freaking like 40 feet to move around. My room's taken up by all this stuff, and I'm paying $800, $900 to live here while I'm going to school, and then I have to pay for car insurance. And then my mom, I won't ever forget it. My mom told me, she was like, "You'll realize how much food you ate one day when I kick you out." And I was like, "What?" And when she said that, she was like, "You won't realize how much food you eat until I kick you out." And I was like, "You're never gonna kick me out." And she was like, "I won't, but he will." And my stepdad did end up kicking me out. She was real with that. And went to the grocery store. I just got paid from the pizza joint I was working at. I worked at a pizza place and FedEx. So I got paid every week from FedEx and every 2 weeks from the pizza joint. So I went to the grocery store. It's a local grocery store called Wenco back on the West Coast. And people know it's known for being quote unquote cheap or cheaper. People go there for bulk, not bulk like Sam's Club, but you'll get a couple pounds of rice instead of like a pound, cheaper stuff, right? And I go and I get a grocery cart of all what the stuff that I had ate at my parents' house and stuff that I had wanted to eat, and meals and ground beef, and I started becoming an adult. And I get to scanning and scanning and scanning, and that thing kept going. And I scanned, and I was like $300 or 350 or something, and I had got paid like 480, and I was like, wow, there goes all my money. And I ate it in like a week and a half, and I was like not even like on the type of like I'm full all the time. I was like, wow. So I think that's probably what made me realize like you got to change something. And then I got screwed over a couple times. Like my buddy's mom screwed me over $1,000 on the power bill. That made me realize like, well, maybe karma's coming back a little bit. I lived with my buddy Blake. His dad, when I came back from COVID, his dad kicked me out because his dad had some autoimmune disease that he had just found out about. So that was not terrible, but I went and lived with my brother, and we don't have the best of a relationship. There's nothing I will say that is bad, but we don't have a good relationship, and I don't like his fiance or wife. She's not respectful, I guess. So one day my wife tells me that she's not gonna come over to my house anymore because they got into an argument. So instead of me saving $1,500 a month and doing the right, being a smart young adult, I ended up not breaking the lease because it was the neighbor was her childhood best friend's dad. So we instead of me breaking the lease, I just moved out, and me and my wife ended up moving into an apartment. And then I was working a little bit, not working more, but working to pay the bills more. So I think like going through that and like realizing like I didn't yes, I will admit I didn't treat her the best, but there was back and forth conflict with multiple people multiple times. So, yeah, I maybe didn't treat her the best. So I realized, like, okay, now as an adult, I personally love money. I love what it can do for you. I love that I could give a bum if I had enough money. I could give a bum $100 and sorry, that was rude. A homeless person. I come from Portland, Oregon, so we have actual bums out there. Um, give not give money, but like if I could just cool, go buy yourself a freaking whatever you want to buy. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Whether it be you go to Kobe's and spoil yourself or whatever, right? I like money, and I started to realize if if I'm not the nicest or whatever, maybe I'm gonna lose money. And I never like losing money because after me getting kicked out, I didn't lose money, but in the back of my eyes, I thought I lost money because I'm over here paying for rent, which my actions, which I can reflect on, caused that. You know what I mean? I was over there being rude to my parents. I tried to sneak well, I didn't try. I definitely snuck my girlfriend into the house multiple times. I would party. They knew this. You know what I mean? They caught me with miscellaneous stuff in the house all the time. So, they got tired of it and then it cost me money. And then I was like, well, I'm not going to cost a relationship with my wife. So I can't be rude. And there's definitely still times where I call it crash out, but I try. It's not like I'm going insane like some people consider crash outs. But there's definitely moments where I don't, not my wife, but there's times where I like crash out. And then I get back to it. Not back to it, but I'll sit there and be like for example, I got into an argument with my coworker a couple days ago because he tried to tell me what I could say and not say, and I was like, "You can't tell me what to say and not say." And then we went back and forth, and I didn't say anything bad, but I was close to crashing out, and I just ended up leaving work for the day, and I was like, "I'm not doing this." So I've started to reflect like when I'm gonna crash out and say stuff I don't mean and blank a little bit because I I don't have anger issues anymore, but I definitely did as a kid, and I think it was just because I was so mad that about my stepdad for some reason. Like I didn't like him. He pissed me off. Like everything he did pissed me off because he was a cop, and I was a bad kid, and I wanted to smoke weed, and I wanted to drink, and I wanted to have a girlfriend come over all the time when they weren't home, and not saying we did stuff that was bad or anything, but like I always just wanted to do rebellious stuff. So then I was like, okay, well, I can't do this anymore.
Well, it seems like you're making it happen now.
I'm trying. I'm trying. That's why I'm on this podcast. I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to make it happen.
So, before we wrap up, I ask almost every guest this question.
Yeah.
So, what's the greatest lesson failure has taught you that you still carry with you today?
What's the best lesson failures taught me that I still keep trying? Yeah, cause I won't. It's I'll tie it all in at the end. All right, just hang in with me. All right. So my grandpa, um, my dad's always said on his side. I met my grandpa when I was 19 years old because they didn't have a sour relationship, but he was always working and he finally settled down and retired and wanted to like actually, he was never a family person for his past and growing up and everything. So I met him and he doesn't like smoke cigars or do anything like that. So I was trying to like at 19 I was more of like smoke a cigar or smoke a cigarette or vape or whatever and talk to somebody. So he bonded over coffee or juice. And so he had these cups that had our last names on them. It was cool as hell. I wish I had one. He's not passed away, so I'm gonna get one before he passes away. Anyway, so we're bonding over. He has coffee and I have juice because I didn't like coffee at the time. And he was telling me about one day how he went and my grandpa doesn't like anything fancy, but my grandpa buys everything cash. And he went in to buy a Honda Pilot and the first dude that he talked to didn't talk to him because he didn't dress nice. So then he left and went across the way and bought a Honda Pilot from some dude that that addressed him when he wasn't wearing anything nice. And the dude went back. So my grandpa went back and told the dude, hey, you could have had this money, right? So the one thing I would say back to it is always keep trying, because at the end of the day, if you don't keep trying, you'll never get what you want. If he wouldn't have went to the next store and addressed the dude, he wouldn't have had what he wanted, right? If I wouldn't have, for example, right, there's been days where I don't want to go to work. I don't hate working. I love working, but I love my family more than I love working. So there's days where I just want to sit up in bed or, go clean downstairs, make some breakfast, throw on some random ass music, whatever, and hang out. But if you don't keep going, you're gonna fail. You don't fail until you stop, and if you stop, then you fail. You know what I mean? There's been people that have made it into random things at 70 years old. I seen a dude graduate. I mean, I didn't see him graduate, but I seen a video of him graduating. I think it was some random college in Louisiana. I think it was LSU or something at like 80 years old. You know what I mean? You don't fail until you stop. There's people that, I mean, they'll open 10 businesses and they'll fail. They open 11 and they're a billionaire. You know what I mean? Like if you stopped with your consulting thing and you're like, okay, I'm done with sales. I'm just gonna leave this company. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have got the 6 years of experience that you have to then want to open your own company. You know what I mean? If you fail you get fired from a job. What are you gonna do? Sit there and just mope about it? No, you didn't fail. You don't fail until you stop. Because at the end of the day, the wheel keeps spinning.
That is a great lesson for everyone.
Yeah, because my wife will be like, well, this failed. And I'm like, this didn't fail. You just stopped trying to make that work. And she's like, well, I didn't try and stop. I just put a little less effort into it. Okay, well then you stopped. I mean, you didn't stop if you put little effort in, but if you put no effort in, you stopped. Like she got all mad one day. She was trying to get TikTok to X amount of followers, and she was doing all this stuff on TikTok, and then Snapchat. She was posting on Snapchat to TikTok and cross platform, and then she started seeing Snapchat take off, and she's talking about TikTok's failing, but she's still getting followers and stuff, and it's like, and then she just stopped TikTok, and then she's complaining about how she has no followers compared to Snapchat on TikTok, and I'm like, well, you just stopped. Like you didn't fail. You just stopped.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
That was an amazing lesson that I think everyone needs to know. And thank you for being on this podcast, and
thank you.
Thank you for sharing all of your stories.
I got a million.
Yes, we'll have you back on.
Yes, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Yes, let's make it happen.
Thanks for tuning in to Making It Happen. If today's episode hit home, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who needs to hear it.